Want to watch Naruto Lemon Uncensored but don't know where? Then you can go to my Boosty where you will see the whole world of Naruto Lemon Uncensored with a 70% discount. Link in the description. Enjoy watching. Description: after the epic battle with the QB, Kushina survived. But these events broke her, plus the villagers' attitude toward her, to put it mildly, was not very welcoming. Not at all. The bloody habanero is no more. She doesn't even care about her little son. And in a moment of clarity, Kushina performs a ritual. Chapter 1. It's just some kind of holiday. I only had enough strength to make such a statement after what I saw in the mirror. So don't believe in the transference of consciousness or soul after that. I fell, hit my head, woke up in another world. Well, what can I say? Shock is our way. However, modern people quickly adapt to a shocking change in situation. Having checked reality for possible hallucinations using standard means, I came to the conclusion that everything is not so bad. So let's sum it up. Looking back at me from the mirror was a young woman of about 25, maybe older, but not much. Gray eyes, long, rich red hair. Her face was not bad pretty. Well, we've more or less sorted out her appearance. All that remains is to figure out who I am now. Crying came from the room. Crying? Oh no! I turned around like a sleepwalker and saw a blond boy of about 5. He was sitting in the middle of the room, sobbing as bitterly as only children can. I went up to him and sat down next to him. I didn't know what to do with the child, since I'd never been a mother myself, and didn't want to. I quickly got tired and angry around children. It seemed like this was my punishment for my past life. Something like, if you don't want to, we'll make you. And there's no getting away from it. Oh ho ho. It's not the child's fault that his mother suddenly found a new soul. By the way, we need to figure out what happened to the old one. So, shall we get down to fulfilling our maternal duties, or what? I stroked the little boy's head. What happened? The boy sobbed and looked up at me with stunningly blue eyes. Blood was pouring from his split lip. His entire face was evenly smeared with snot and tears. There were also some kind of stripes on his cheeks, 3 on each side. Ugh! I sighed and picked up the baby, who clutched me convulsively, seemingly unable to believe his good fortune. Hadn't he been hugged or carried? I had some questions for the body's former owner. Let's go clean up. And then you'll tell me what happened, okay? Another sob answered me. Who would raise a hand against this disheveled son? No, I understand the educational aspects of slaps and belts, but beating a child like that is unacceptable. Whoever they are, they simply don't know who they're dealing with or what I can do to them. I carefully washed the little one in the bathtub, trying not to cause unnecessary pain, and the baby clung to me with his hands and feet. Kitten. Where do I get these feelings? Is an old soul really surfacing? Okay, I'll finish with the boy. I'll figure out who or what this is. There you go. The bleeding was stopped, the wound was treated, washed, and cleaned. By the way, the mustache still hasn't washed off. It looks like natural pigmentation. I threw the boy's dirty clothes on the floor. I'll sort it out later. And now let's go console this miracle. By the way, the little guy never got off me, even when I undressed him. He, diligently panting, remained in my arms and had no intention of getting down. What a life you've had, little one. Are you going to eat? I found fresh clothes for him in the closet, which, however, is not surprising. We dressed again without getting off each other. Judging by the boy's face, he would have stayed like that forever. However, yes. What a loud and clear voice. Well, then, let's go see what we can enjoy today. Having grabbed the boy more comfortably, she went to look for the kitchen. A small kitchen, however, to say the least. And the whole apartment wasn't particularly spacious. It was hard for a single mother to live here. If I hadn't been alone, I doubt they would have beaten the little one's face in. So, what do we have in the fridge? There's nothing prepared in the fridge. Will you sit at the table while I make dinner? I looked at the little one, but he only squeezed his arms tighter around my neck and shook his head. How am I supposed to cook now? Well, maybe at least move over to your back? So my hands would be free? The little one didn't mind. With this extra burden, I returned to the kitchen. The process didn't take long, because I didn't cook anything complicated. The ingredients didn't look much different from ours, and I've always loved to cook. I made some broth, chopped up a salad, fried a couple of pieces of meat, and made some tea. That's it. Now are you going to get off me? I glanced sideways at the little one behind me. Uh-huh. Oh, my lower back. However, it's not a lousy exercise machine. Well, go ahead, start with the broth. While the boy was eating, I picked at my plate a little myself. I had no appetite. Some of the oddities of this world really confused me, and I had no answers yet. Just as I didn't have time to understand where I'd ended up during the transfer. How can I settle in here? After all, everyone will surely notice the difference in my behavior. Okay, I'll solve the problems as they come. Thanks, Mom. Wow, what an appetite the kid has. He ate everything and, it seems, practically licked the plates clean. You're welcome. Would you like some tea? I saw some sweets around here somewhere. Yeah. He's a real gem, only he's really loud. Everything will be fine now. I took out a dish with candies and some cookies, poured us some tea, and looked with affection at the happy face of the little one eating the treats. How little a child needs to be completely happy. What kind of life did you have before? The very thought of it is terrifying. Didn't your mother spoil you, didn't carry you in her arms? I don't like children, but I won't let them hurt you either. I hope that even I will be a better mother to you. However, I was really thinking. The little one had already dozed off, hugging a cup and some candy. I chuckled and, picking him up, carried him into the room to put him to bed. The little one didn't even wake up when I washed him. That's all. Sleep, sunshine. Having covered the baby with a blanket, I could finally devote myself to finding answers to questions. Who am I? Where am I? What is my name? What is the little one's name? And anyway, what is going on? So, let's see what can help me. A photo. Yes. There were 3 framed photographs on the table. The first one was of me and the little one. Apparently, it was taken not very long ago, since the boy hadn't changed much. I turn it over, hoping for a signature. Hooray! There's an inscription. Hieroglyphics? Holy shit. Am I in Japan or something? I can't speak a word of Japanese. Or even a word? I communicated with my son without any problems. And I seem to read freely. Inhale, exhale, so what's written there? Kushina and Naruto, 5 years old. So I'm Kushina, apparently. And the boy is Naruto. Well, I get it. Stop. Naruto? Damn it. Did I end up in an anime? What a setup. And I didn't understand a thing at first. The boy is blonde with blue eyes and a mustache on his cheeks. And I was proud of my ability to notice details. What the hell details, if you don't understand plain text? Oh, no. What to do? Nothing. Inhale, exhale, and move on. There's no escape from this. Yeah, I'm in a real mess. The only thing I don't understand is how I, or rather Kushina, survived. I think she died along with her husband in the canon version. Okay. What's next with the photos? And in the next photo, it was apparently Minato looking back at me. He was quite the handsome man. He was. It was immediately clear who Naruto took after. And the third photo was Minato and a group of 3 children. Well, that must be Rin, Obito, and Kakashi. A team. It's both too much and too little information at the same time. On the one hand, I learned where I ended up, what kind of world it is, and who I am in it. On the other hand, I can't do anything the original Kushina should know. What should I do? By all the laws of the time travel genre, I should at least have the memories of the body's former owner, and their abilities. If that's what you want, someone whispered. What? There's someone else here? A supernova suddenly flared in my brain. And darkness enveloped me. Oh, take that bijou, my head. I barely opened my watery eyes. You really can't just dump all the components of a completely different personality on someone right away. How can you believe the brain is used to a fraction of a percent? Otherwise, how could you possibly retain the entire life of another personality in your memory? Yes, they gave me a bonus. Or rather, Kushina passed on her skills to me, and she knew a lot, though. As an Uzumaki, she had vast reserves and excellent chakra control, elemental water techniques, genjutsu at an acceptable level. But on top of this undoubtedly useful knowledge, this fool dumped her emotional experiences on me. And here I was, wondering why the baby reacted so much to affection. Here's the thing, Kushina miraculously survived that fateful showdown with the Kyuubi. Minato, of course, did everything he could and sealed it in Naruto, and, of course, died. But then began the pure theater of the absurd in Konoha, the third Hokage's name. First, the entire village suddenly hated Naruto and Kushina. Well, that's understandable, since the boy was supposedly a vessel for a demon, and Kushina was one. Although such an attitude toward weapons is strange, and that's precisely what Jinchuriki were for the village. This wave of hatred drove Kushina, who had just lost her beloved, crazy. And without even saying goodbye. It wasn't immediately noticeable, of course, but over time it resulted in complete apathy toward life in general, and the child in particular. That's why Naruto clung to me so much when I simply paid attention to him. He was used to his mother ignoring him. Kakashi, Minato's last apprentice, was in charge of raising the little one. And even then, not always. Secondly, Kushina and her son weren't allowed to leave the village. That is, they didn't let her go on missions. They were supposedly trying to keep her from running away, for fear of a bijou. And of course, she couldn't earn any money, especially with a small child. The third, of course, threw in a monthly allowance, but living decently on that. It was doubtful, in short. And then, all the money the fourth and Kushina had in their account had disappeared somewhere. As the Kage hesitantly explained, the money went toward rebuilding Konoha after the Kyuubi attack. Because of Kushina. Yeah. The old man's behavior has gone completely nuts. And thirdly, after analyzing the situation as a whole, I realized the third was far from a kind and helpful man. The old man was playing his own game, and clearly not in Minato's favor. So his rise to power again was only natural. And the head of Root is completely covered in it. That's the scenario Kushina dumped on me. As I understand it, she was so desperate that she performed some kind of ritual on herself. She was broken, so desperate that the only thing stopping her from committing suicide was her son. Thank the gods, she didn't forget about him completely. And as a result, here I am. It's good that I didn't drown in her worries. And that bitch, having dumped her problems on me, fluttered off to heaven, or wherever shinobi go according to canon. The situation is developing rather unpleasantly. Unpleasant for me and my son. Where can I go from a submarine? Naruto is now my son. And my name is Kushina Uzumaki. Chapter 2.my sad thoughts were interrupted by the quiet creak of the door. I wonder who else has come in there. A blond guy in a mask with his left eye closed slipped into the apartment. Well, let's meet, Kakashi Hatake. Good afternoon, Kakashi-kun. How interesting, the correct address to the guy slipped out almost automatically. The imparted knowledge is working. It is working. Kushina-san? Is everything all right? The young man looked at me in surprise. Apparently, Kushina hadn't had any epiphanies in a long time. Yes, everything is fine. Let's not wake Naruto, let's go to the kitchen. We can have some coffee while we're at it. I got up and, setting an example for Kakashi, stomped towards the kitchen. I have something serious to talk about with him after all, he is my husband's student. I hope he is a grateful student. On the farthest shelf, I found an almost untouched pack of coffee. I sniffed it, it didn't seem rancid. While I was busy with my coffee, Kakashi managed to settle down at the small dining table so as not to interfere with my scurrying around the kitchen. That's what shinobi experience means. Easily find your place in 3 square meters. Done. After pouring coffee into cups, I sat down at the table opposite the guy. Well, shall we chat about our sorrowful affairs? Kakashi stared at me as if I were a talking stool. Yes, I am very different from the Kushina he knew. But I have practically nothing to lose by hook or by crook. I will get what I want. Kushina-san, you look strange today. By the way, he immediately took off his mask at the table. And his face is normal underneath, no deformities or scars. Why does he wear it all the time? No stranger than usual. I waved off the complaints. Tell me, my friend, how loyal are you to the Third in particular and Konoha in general? Ahem. He almost choked in surprise. Yes, I am. And don't even look at me with one eye on suspicion. If he loved his teacher, my late husband, then, in theory, he'll be on my side. And if the boy isn't stupid, then he understands all the scenarios. Kushina-san, is that even you? Yes, that's an interesting question. I don't even know what to answer you. From my point of view, it's me. From the world's point of view on this problem, maybe not anymore. Well, I did. That's how I put it. And it's all true. You haven't drunk coffee before, Kushina-san, and today you're acting more adequate than usual. Look, he managed to say it that way so as not to offend a potential psycho. Coffee clears the brain well, or the remnants of it, as in my case. Forget it, I took another sip of the hot drink. A fairy tale. So what will you answer my question? I have always been devoted to your husband, Kushina-san. If you need help, you can rely on me. He quickly got over his surprise. I like you, Kakashi. Good job. Well then, tell me everything you think about the Third and his actions after the QB attack. I wonder how the guy will act. It seems simple, to say that I'm on your side. But a detailed answer to such a question will clarify how much he is, for us. Well, surprise me, Kakashi. That night, help was not sent to Minato-sensei in time, which undoubtedly led to his death and almost led to yours. And the position of the council and the Third towards you after his reconfirmation as Kage, to put it mildly, makes you practically hostages of the village. And then there's the law passed that no one is to tell Naruto that he is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. The persecution of both of you by the villagers. I think that both the Third and the council are heavily involved in all of this. I think the head of Root was also at the forefront. They really need you, but they need you weak and manageable. Something like that. Congratulations, Kakashi. You haven't disappointed me. Excellent, I'm glad you understand all of this. So, I need your help. I have to leave Konoha with the little one. I have absolutely nothing to do here. The last thing I need is for my son to become the village's watchdog. The Hidden Leaf has treated my family too ungratefully for me to continue to consider myself its shinobi. One way or another, with or without your help, we will leave this swamp. The guy thought for a moment. Well, yes, I'm putting him in danger if the escape fails. Escape. This is the only way to be free from the arrogant old men from the council. I was too freedom-loving in my past life, and in this one I certainly have no intention of limiting my desires and beliefs. I have a son who is systematically beaten and humiliated. I won't allow it. I'll tear anyone apart for this little one. He's had enough bad luck in life as it is. Since he's got me as a mother. Kushina-san, I will help you. I want you to live well. And for Naruto not to suffer. I thought you were a little crazy, but now I see that you are even more sane than before, bloody habanero. And Kakashi smiled slyly. Excellent. I need a plan, Kakashi-kun. They won't let me leave the village, much less let me leave with my son. I need to prepare everything so that I have a head start of at least a couple of days. Also, I need money. Those farts from the council didn't return my family's capital, and I didn't demand it then. Now I desperately need it. Think about what can be done, because I need to live on something. And I still have to arrange for the child. Everything else is nonsense. I can stuff my things into scrolls. We have traveling clothes. Buying supplies will take a couple of hours. That's basically it. Okay, Kushina-san. I'll think about a plan. And I have some thoughts about returning the money. I'll tell the Kage that you're fixated on buying a new house. Apparently, you remembered that you once had a decent fortune and decided to bring the matter up for discussion with the village. They won't resort to outright theft. They'll return the money, or at least part of it. However, you'll have to feign complete inadequacy again when the third one comes and asks why you need such a sum. Focus on the idea of living a new life in a new house. I think it will work. Well done. Minato would be proud of you. I know it's bad, but I couldn't resist taking advantage of Kakashi's loyalty to his teacher. Then I'll prepare a fiery speech for the Kage's arrival, and you think up a plan based on the operational situation in the village. How can Naruto and I get away without anyone realizing it, and most importantly, without them thinking you're an accomplice? Mom! Another sob came from the room. The little one had woken up and, apparently, was not in the mood. I peeked out from the kitchen. Hello, little one. We have a welcome guest. Would you like some tea and a cookie? The boy got out of bed and, smiling happily, trudged towards us. And his bad mood was left somewhere in the past, along with his apathetic mother. Good afternoon, Kakashi-san. Naruto crawled onto my lap and, throwing his head back, looked expectantly into my eyes. Like, where are the cookies and my tea? Well. Kakashi-kun, pour this extortionist some tea, otherwise he won't let me get up. The blonde smiled and went to fulfill my request. Sunshine at this time was making himself more comfortable on my lap, trying to hug me at the same time, so that his mother would definitely not go anywhere. I'm not leaving you anywhere, little one. And I blew on the top of his head. I'm not a little one. Wow, what a smile. All baby teeth. Charming child. I don't understand the locals. How can they treat such a miracle so badly? What nonsense, you little one. When you outgrow your mother, you'll be a big boy. I patted Naruto on the head. Kakashi put a cup of tea in front of him. That's it, the little monster is busy and won't bother us for a while. I'll go and take care of your matter, Kushina-san, the shinobi said, pulling on his mask. Expect guests either tonight or tomorrow. Most likely tomorrow. I'll try to make a splash in the council. And when talking to the Kage, use plenty of vague phrases about a better life. And, of course, demand money. All right, Kakashi-kun. Goodbye. And thank you. Naruto and I stayed in the kitchen. The little extortionist demanded another cup of tea and his mother's company. Well, yes, he'd been through a lot. How could he not become a wolf cub, with such an attitude from his mother and those around him? Naruto had some kind of inner love of life and forgiveness. An amazing creature. So, with that, afternoon tea is over. I put the cookie scraps away. The little one can't have so many sweets. Naruto frowned. Of course, all the joys in life went to live on the fridge. What a nasty thing I am. Do you want to go for a walk? With you? And a timid hope in his eyes. Of course. Now we'll get dressed and go. I found black pants and a red t-shirt for the boy in the closet, and I put on all black. In Kushina's wardrobe, almost everything was black. Morning. Well, I'm not stressed, I've always liked black. So, putting on pants and a turtleneck, I headed for the exit, braiding my hair along the way. I don't like it when long hair is loose, it always gets in my mouth and eyes. Ugh. Naruto? Ready? Yeah. His eyes were burning, he grabbed my hand. Dreams do come true, little one. Then let's go. As my son and I walked through the streets of Konoha, eyes burning with hatred accompanied us. I'm simply speechless. Give me a bijou bomb. Or better yet, two. No way, no way. Screw this place and the people. Take the next armored train through the woods. This is simply incomprehensible. Seething and indignant inside, but with a completely calm face, I walked slowly hand in hand with Naruto toward the forest park, or whatever it was called. We walked for a long time. The kid climbed first all the bushes, then all the trees. Then he dared me, and I climbed with him. Later, I remembered that I was supposedly a shinobi, and picking up the boy, I started jumping from branch to branch. And the trees here are wow. Maybe the gravity is weaker here? Yeah, whatever. Jumping was fun. Just walking on vertical surfaces, and upside down too. The little brat was happy, simply delighted, which expressed itself in deafeningly loud squeals and screams right in my ears. On the way home, I ran through the water of a small pond, stepping in such a way as to make as much splash as possible. We were having a good time, that's for sure. By the time we approached the house, it was already getting dark. Great. Now I'll feed the little ones and go to bed. However, the lights were on in the windows of my little apartment. And that means we have a Kage or someone even scarier visiting. Naruto, listen carefully. Sarutobi-san or someone else from the let's say, respected people is visiting our house right now. I will behave inappropriately in front of them. What do you mean? Like before today? But the little one understands. And that's good. Yes, it could be worse. Don't be afraid and pretend like everything is normal. Or better yet, go straight to the kitchen. We'll talk later. Are you sure you won't change again, Mom? Oh my God! What have you been doing, Kushina, all this time? Exactly. I am as I am now. And I will not change any more. Do you believe me? Yes, the boy nodded and smiled. Then go ahead. Everything will change soon, Naruto. Just wait a little bit. We climbed the stairs and entered the apartment. As I thought, the third Kage of the village hidden in the leaves, Sarutobi Hiruzen, was waiting for us. Well, the audience is in place, the actors are taking to the stage. Curtain. Chapter 3. Such a sweet old man on the outside and such a poisonous bug on the inside. That's when the outside doesn't match the inside at all. The old man looked at me with such an inviting gaze. Well then, let's turn on the madhouse and go. The main thing is to smile more. People really do love idiots. Kushina-san. Good evening. Hello, Sarutobi-sama. Naruto and I greet each other in chorus. Don't forget to bow. Damn it. I hate bowing. And in front of that jerk, too. Naruto, go to the kitchen and sit there for a bit. You haven't visited us in a while. He needed this Kushina like a dog needs a fifth leg. No, like the fifth Hokage did in life. He wouldn't have come by for another 100 years if it weren't for my new quirk. The old man sat down in a chair. Business. A lot of work. You know, Hokage is not just words, your husband was also Hokage. Whose Minato are you talking about? Oh, you want to knock me down a peg. Like, I'll cry and forget about it. Oh well. Good luck. Yes, Sarutobi-sama. I understand you so well. Wow. Your eyes are wide open. That's it. We'll at him now. I remember my husband. He was a wonderful man. Yes. I so want Naruto to follow in his father's footsteps. I remembered my inheritance, and decided that we have enough of living in a squalid apartment. I want him to live in his own home, give him a good education. Kushina-san, you must understand that a lot of money was spent from your and Minato's account on the restoration of Konoha. Many shinobi died, many lost their homes, many families died, leaving orphans. An old man decided to soften my heart? What a fool! Come on, Sarutobi-sama. The orphan is sitting in my kitchen. Naruto lost his father that night. And I could have been left a complete orphan if I had turned out to be less resilient. And as for the money, there was enough money there to rebuild all of Konoha. Maybe even twice over. Moreover, my husband and I also own real estate. We smile and wave. Yes. Tell me, why are you so worried about Naruto's future right now? Are they bullying you? Harassing you? The old man was concerned about my well-being. God, how natural. I'm going to shed a tear right now. No, what are you saying? More idiocy in your eyes. And fanaticism. I'll shed a tear right now for clarity. No one is bullying us. Everything is fine. Just look at this little apartment. I remember Minato's house and I understand that something has gone wrong. Well, the fair advice of Naruto and me, the widow and orphan of the fourth Hokage, couldn't have sent us, the widow and orphan of the fourth Hokage, to live out our lives in a garbage dump. This has to be some kind of mistake. I don't remember much of what happened after the Kyuubi attack, but I think they simply forgot about us. There was a lot to do. Right, Sarutobi-sama? Right. I want to address the Jonin Council on this matter. And my finishing blow. As far as I remember, the Jonin Council didn't fully support you, old man. Damn, I forgot about the Uchiha. They were the ones I should have gone to first. They supported Minato. You big head. Yes. Kushina-san, this is definitely a misunderstanding. There's no point in contacting the council. And Grandpa is taking the blow well, even though he's pretty twisted. I'll handle the return of your property and money myself. I think a couple of days is enough for me to figure out who's to blame for this. Good. Thank you, Sarutobi-sama. Don't punish the culprit too harshly. He probably has children too. All that's left is to fall at my feet and roll around. You won't get it. However, I'm afraid of myself. Ranovskaya died inside me, and they buried her. The idiotic expression on his face made my jaw clench. I hope at least I didn't overdo it. Now, Kushina-san. They'll bring you all the documents by the end of the week. All the best. And rising from his chair, the gray-haired villain flew out of my little apartment like a bullet. Probably ran to return the money. Yes, those in power are the same everywhere. Well, let's sum it up. I think he managed to fool me. The fact that the money, at least not all of it, will be returned to me is certain. He has no reason to get involved with the clan council. Real estate. That's certainly a problem. It's a shame to leave it, but you can't take it with you either. And selling it means arousing unnecessary suspicion. Those farts will wonder, why do I need so much money? The most obvious conclusion is to run away. So I can't sell. But what if? Well, of course. I'll get the papers, I'll have a look. Maybe there's nothing wrong with them. And if there is, I'll send Kakashi to the Uchiha with a business proposal. Haha. I can't go there myself, I have the image of a mentally reclusive woman. Yeah, everything's fine. So far so good. Naruto peeked out of the kitchen. After a serious survey of the area, he came up to me. Gone? Yes, we can relax? The boy nodded seriously. Is he really 5 years old? That's too mature behavior. Let's go eat, son. We chatted happily all dinner. I grilled Naruto about his split lip, and that little partisan kept quiet. Never mind, I'll find out anyway. And I'll find it. And I'll tear it apart. Bastards. There you go, Bijou. I have an obsession now to destroy Konoha. Calm down, relax and enjoy spending time with your son, Kushina. Tea, sweets, an evening wash for the baby and the struggle to put him to bed. A normal evening for a normal mother. We're slowly getting used to it. When Naruto finally passed out, I started creating seals to transport our belongings. Although we didn't have much. Clothes, dishes, a few toys, 3 memorable photographs, a few household items, and I forgot about my husband's library of scrolls. Oh, my stupid head. It's good they're warded, no one but family can read them. I need to get those first. And it wouldn't hurt to read them myself. The entire library was packed into a large scroll. Okay, here's Chakra and Hoba. Both. In front of me stood a large bookcase, covered in papers of all kinds and sorts. It's a good thing I went to the center of the room, otherwise I would have been having fun under it. I phlegmatically watched as one of the research papers fell from the top shelf. The bookcase wasn't just full, it was bursting with scrolls of various sizes. After 4 hours, I had a rough idea of what was in my portable library. Besides copies of the first and second Kage's scrolls, as well as copies of forbidden techniques, there were also works on Minato's research, descriptions of his techniques, such as the Flying Thunder God technique and the Rasengan. Yeah. Now that's a whole bunch of bonuses. Well, naturally, I started with the Shadow Clone. Luckily, everything was meticulously recorded in the copy. 3 seals in 2 rows, and bam. But why are there so many Kushina around? I asked the clones to count. There were 67 of them. Those who couldn't fit in the room were standing on the stairs and some outside. Good thing it was night outside, and no one saw. I dispelled the clones. I sat down to think. And yet I'd only poured a small amount of chakra into the technique. What's going on? It turns out my already large reserve has simply become bottomless. On the one hand, it's good, I'll never run out of chakra again. But on the other, I need to increase my control again. Meditation is everything again. Oh well. I'll start training Naruto at the same time. The little one is already 5, and he's still not doing anything. It's outrageous. Clan children are trained for a great future at 3. So I'll prepare mine too. Wants to become a Kage? Go ahead. I'll even help out as much as I can. Konoha will have to be rebuilt anyway. I'm angry, and I've never had a bad memory. Okay, so next. And next we have the Rasengan. Well, we need to practice that, we'll do it on the road. And I need to remember to buy some balls tomorrow. Lots of balls. Just to make sure there are enough. I doubt I'll be able to do the Thunder God. I didn't have any lightning release. I have plenty of water techniques. And I'll also buy some chakra conductive paper tomorrow. We'll finally figure everything out about myself, and about Naruto. Little or not, some element will be determined. At least I'll know what to teach him. Yeah. I can't read this again now. Study, and study some more. I love this stuff. So, to sum it up. Now I need to select the scrolls I'll study on the road. Taking out the entire shelf every time would be crazy. I need to jot down a list of supplies for the road, and don't forget to write down the balls and chakra conductive paper. I need to gather and pack my camping gear. Sort out my clothes, what's necessary, what's not, and what we can live without. Work for half the night, if not until the morning. Damn, I'm so stupid. Clones. I just made them. Shake wham wham, fingers fanned out, just a little chakra, and 8 clones are ready. Well, now things are going well. A couple of clones are rummaging through clothes, a couple are packing things into scrolls, a couple are rattling dishes in the kitchen, and a couple more, I think, are just running back and forth around the room. Everyone is busy. I think I'll go get busy too. Sleep. Chapter 4. I was pulled out of a pleasant dream by a clone who brazenly announced that breakfast was ready, the work was done, and then immediately vanished. Himself. My clones were quite rude. It really was time to get up, especially since I had a ton of things planned for that day. I left Naruto to finish his last nap, let him sleep a little longer, and went to have some water treatments. Now, in the shower and yeah. Have they completely lost their nerve? There was no hot water. There was only cold, or rather icy. The same one from the high mountain springs, judging by the freshness. Well, damn, I've washed myself, but at least I'm feeling incredibly refreshed. Chattering teeth, I quickly put on my robe. How awful. And right in the morning. And I thought there was always hot water in cartoons. But here it is, like in my home country interruptions. Nostalgia. Coffee. I'm following your smell. In fact, breakfast for 2 was set on the kitchen table. A frying pan with fragrant fried eggs stood on the stove, a hot kettle next to it. Yum! And clones are an incredibly convenient thing. What the hell are battles, what war? The best use for them is in everyday life. The first sandwich with butter went down a storm. Morning, coffee, silence. Here it is, happiness. Mom? Yes, but the happiness didn't last long. I'm in the kitchen. Go wash up and we'll have breakfast. I shout into the room, continuing to destroy the sandwich. Good morning, Mom. A small, fair-haired miracle with sleepy eyes appeared in the kitchen. Kawaii. Hello to you too, little one. Have you washed up? I'm not little. Want to bet? Go wash up, okay. I lightly spanked the pouting boy on the butt, sending him in the direction of the bathroom. And be careful, there's no hot water. Okay. While the little one was washing himself and trying to comb his hair, I poured him some hot tea, put some scrambled eggs on a plate, and threw in a couple of cookies as a reward. When you think about it, I'm very lucky with my child. He's quite sensible, calm, and kind. He's still little, and I'll have time to raise a sensible person out of him. I smiled at the sun peeking in the window. Good. Naruto finally got out of the bathroom and stomped to the table. Come on, little ones! Let's eat, then we'll go shopping. Naruto, so excited about the upcoming trip to the local shops, even forgot about being offended. This is the main educational moment. It's called bribing a child. Yes, I'm not much of a parent, but at least I don't ignore him. And so, in relative silence, our breakfast continued. I was already sipping my second cup of coffee when the boy finished eating. Having made the seals, I summoned a couple of clones who had cleaned the kitchen after breakfast. Well, little rascal, let's go get dressed. Maybe you have any shopping wishes? Do you want something? I was rummaging through the closet again. However, an oversight, yesterday the clones packed a ton of things, not really leaving anything for the last days that we would spend in Konoha. I had to look for the right scroll with clothes. Okay, this is for the little one, I need to get this too. I need to leave this for my shift. I put back on the shelves everything that in theory could be needed for 3 or 4 days. I want an orange jacket. Wow. Well, while he's little, such colors are even nice to wear, but later I'll have to explain about invisibility. I'll die if he dresses up as an orange monster. Well, if there is something suitable, then we'll buy it. Deal? Yeah. And a smile. How lovely. The main thing is not to squeeze, because the boys don't like that. We got dressed, combed our hair, put on our shoes, and off we went. Morning in Konoha would have been just like any other town, if not for the green vests flashing here and there, and the shinobi running along the rooftops and wires. It looks strange to those unfamiliar with it. A guy runs down the street without slowing down, crosses to a wall, and then along the wires. Cockroaches, only green and with the Konoha logo. By our cockroaches. What kind of nonsense is creeping into your head this morning? Well, along the way we were followed by hateful glances, but that's normal, I'm almost used to it. Total relaxation. So, the minimum task, stock up on everything on the list. The maximum task, not get caught. Let's begin. First, we bought the missing clothes for the little one. I didn't need them. I had perfectly decent hiking clothes left over from Minato's time. I had to pretend to be a fool, trembling over my child, wanting to shield him from the light, people, rain, and so on down the list. While I was doing this comedy, I bargained for a jacket for the boy. Of course, the jacket was orange. Who would argue? Well, and we also bought some underwear, t-shirts, and a pair of pants. Children rip everything quickly, and what doesn't rip, they outgrow. It's just a waste of money. The next stop on our promenade was the local drugstore. Here I chased the saleswoman around the entire store. I needed a lot of different things from painkillers to nasal spray. I accompanied all this with loud screams, which were basically meaningless, but created the impression of a mother worried about her child's health. The circus continues. Now only the groceries are left. If I go to the Shinobi equipment store, the whole operation can be written off. So let's send Kakashi there with a list. Let him stock up. And we'll squeeze some more medical supplies out of him. I was simply afraid to take the suture kits right now. They served us quickly at the market, just to get them out of here as quickly as possible. I don't care, of course, but do they really have a reason to hate us so much? That aura could have been cut with a knife. A village of fools. Naruto, it should be noted, didn't pay them any attention today either. He was completely consumed by his wish come true. They bought him his dream, an orange jacket. I just chuckled quietly to myself at his blissful face. We finally stumbled home with our hands full of bags. Now to unpack everything and stuff it into scrolls. Okay, my faithful clones, forward to the barricades. These 2, cook food for the road, these 6, make explosive seals, these 2, clean up and do laundry. Then I thought about it and added 10 more to the explosive men. My escape support plan won't require many seals. And by lunchtime, Kakashi burst into the apartment. All mysterious, like Zoro. Come on, spill the beans. What's your plan? At that moment, I was playing shogi with Naruto. The little guy wasn't a genius, of course, but he was pretty good for his age. I had to give in 2 times out of 3. I'm not going to assert myself at the expense of a little brat. It's not hard for me, and he's happy. Good afternoon, Kushina-san. You demand an answer from your guest right from the doorway. But how about inviting him to dinner, or tea or something? It seemed he smelled the smells from the kitchen. The clones made a meat and herb pie today, and also baked some apple pastries. It's just that the restaurant is named after me. Of course, Kakashi-kun, but let's ask the head of the Uzumaki clan. What about you, Naruto-sama? Are you going to lunch? Or should we finish the game? I looked slyly at the kid. He made a thoughtful face, rubbed his forehead with his finger, and nodded solemnly. Yeah, let's go have lunch. And Kakashi and I burst out laughing at this notion. What can I say, the pie was a success, and the baking was a hit too. Naruto, as usual, passed out at the table, defeated by the unequal struggle with the apple pie. While Kakashi carried him to bed, I poured us more tea and got ready to listen. So, after thinking over everything you asked me about, I came up with something. Look, on Sunday, a group of Genin teams is leaving for Suna to participate in the next Chunin exams. 10 Jounin will be going with them, not counting the team captains, several ANBU and the Hokage. What's most important? He's rumored to have a technique with which he can spy and eavesdrop on anything he wants. Yeah, I remember that miracle ball, the apple on the plate dam. The only high-ranking operatives left in Konoha will be Danzo and his root. You can leave quietly at that point. The main thing is to get out of the gates without being noticed. I'll take care of that, especially since you're traveling light. I nodded. Everything was more or less in order so far. As for the head start, I don't even know. If you're not disturbed for a couple of days, no one will even notice you're missing. But if the Hokage leaves orders for ANBU to visit you, that's where problems will arise, as you can imagine. They won't. I'll create 2 shadow clones, and I'll swap one for Naruto. I'll infuse them with enough chakra to last for 2 weeks. Let them come. Not every Sharingan can spot a fake. Especially since I've never been seen using this technique before. Kakashi looked surprised, then nodded. He must have remembered Minato's library. Excellent. Then, unless anything unforeseen happens, you'll have a decent head start. Okay, Kakashi-kun. Thank you. I was truly grateful. Good man. I just have a couple more requests for you. What? Do you need to kill someone? The guy smiled with his eyes. Well, 2 things. The first is simple, to acquire some equipment and medicines that I can't buy myself, so as not to arouse suspicion. The second is more serious. Tomorrow they will bring my money and the documents for the property, if I have any. I will prepare all the necessary papers, and you go to Fugaku-san in the Uchiha quarter and offer them the rights to dispose of the property of Uzumaki and Namikaze. I'm not haggling. The contract will state the minimum amount for everything. I don't need dachas in this godforsaken village. If they agree, and they will, you will take the money and go to the bank. Open an anonymous account. I'll tell you the key phrase tomorrow when you come for the documents. This is my last request. I'll do everything, Kushina-san. Don't worry. Well, I'm not worried. One way or another, we'll break through. The only question is, with what losses? Chapter 5. The next day, Kakashi showed up for lunch. Let's pretend he was just there by chance. Luckily, he used to hang out at Kushina's. I had to cook something tasty again. I think he's just stuffing himself with home-cooked food in advance, because once we leave, he'll have to cook for himself or eat out. While the men waited at the table with chopsticks in hand, I bustled around the stove with a clone. Did you think I'd just dump all the housework on the clones? Why, when I enjoy the process of cooking? So the clone dealt with the salad, and I took care of the main course. Well, it's ready, time to eat. As luck would have it, at that moment a package from Old Man Hiruzen arrived. What a sweetheart! I asked for it, and they gave it to me right away. Just remember to kick while you ask. He didn't show up himself. Apparently a toad got the better of him in the night. Is that even possible in this world? Haha. Let's see what His Majesty's courier brought. Okay, here are my property documents. And I have quite a bit of property. An entire block on the outskirts was left to Minato. True, many of the houses are currently in ruins. But firstly, not all of them, and secondly, the land is still there. We'll hand it all over to the Uchiha comrades. They're currently experiencing overpopulation. Of course, if everything goes as per canon, only one Uchiha will remain, but they don't need to know about that. Warn them? Why? It won't do me any good, and I won't interfere. After all, there are plenty of grown-up, worldly-wise people there. If they're so keen to plot a coup and end up getting burned, who am I to stop them? Naruto and Kakashi were eating in the kitchen, chatting cheerfully, while I prepared the pre-sale documents. I have a lot of bad things to say about life in my world, but they even give a janitor a basic understanding of law there. No, seriously, I seem to have a liberal arts education, but I still managed to draw up a more or less correct contract on the first try. The main thing is to explain the details so well that even a moron can understand what it's all about. Okay, that's done. Here we write on my behalf, as the sole heir, and here we insert on behalf of the clan head. It seems all the holes are covered, and everything is clear. Let's rewrite it cleanly. By the way, I liked writing in hieroglyphs, such a beautiful ligature comes out. The only thing that bothers me are the flowery greetings of official correspondence and the right-to-left text layout. Yeah, that's not our favorite, to so-and-so from so-and-so declaration. As soon as I sorted out the documents and put them away, representatives of the stronger half of humanity appeared from the kitchen. First Naruto poked his head out, then Kakashi. Mom, are you busy? Almost finished. I ruffled the boy's hair. Do you see how many documents we had to draw up? This is our inheritance from Dad. We need to sell everything. Why sell it, Mom? The child thoughtfully ran his finger over the pile of scrolls. After all, this is what was left of Dad. You see, Naruto, what was left of Dad is you. The most valuable thing I could wish for. All that is in these documents are houses neglected by time or half ruined. And since we decided to leave the village, it is better to turn all this unnecessary junk into much-needed money for the journey. Now do you understand my cunning idea? Aha. We can always buy a house somewhere else. Well, in general, he understood correctly. I smiled. These are contracts and deeds of sale, Kakashi-kun. You can take them to the Uchiha. My signature is already on them all, so you just need to pick up the money. Kushina-san, so everything is ready? Can I see it? I nodded, and the blonde sat down on the floor and opened the first scroll. Okay, you read, and I'll go eat, otherwise that courier with the contracts has deprived me of lunch. The boys ate well. A hearty meal. Considering I cooked for 2 days, I only had my portion left. Everything else was destroyed. But the boys washed up after themselves. Well done. Finally, having eaten my fill, rinsing my plate, I returned to the room with another cup of coffee. Bless whoever invented this drink, and the gods who raised it in this universe. When I entered, Kakashi looked up at me, stunned. I've never seen such detailed deeds. Everything is written out so meticulously, it's creepy. That's normal, Kakashi-kun, but in controversial situations, you can always refer to a specific clause of the contract. Naruto, curled up, was dozing shamelessly surrounded by papers. I was touched. What does a child need to be happy? A mother, food, and an afternoon nap. Actually, he also needs the company of his peers, but we'll deal with that at the new place of residence. I'll check the finances now. How much the third gave me out of his generosity, and then I'll let you go to the Uchiha. Okay, I'll read some more. Maybe I'll learn to drive me crazy in writing like that. Very funny, Kakashi. You should live in a world where such documents are the basis of any individual's financial and legal activity. Read. So, this scroll with the seal. Did they really send that many papers about my accounts? I opened the scroll and was stunned. No, the third simply didn't have time to return the money to the account and sent them like that. That is, in a heap. On the one hand, this is a big plus, because the money is not accounted for anywhere, and now he will not even receive papers about transfers from one account to another. On the other hand, imagine how much of it is here and how many there were. After all, he did not send a single report on the money, the bastard. Sighing, I created 4 clones. Let them count this pile. An old man would be capable of filling it with small coins. Vengeful bug. While the clones were counting the money, and Kakashi was delving into the epistolary genre of my world, I managed to doze off a bit, hugging the little one. And what? He is warm, soft, comfortable. And most importantly, he doesn't mind. Mom! Mom! The little one shook my shoulder. Huh? What? Where? Ugh, something was wrong in my dream. I even scared the boy. Sorry, I haven't woken up yet. What happened, Naruto? Kushina-san, I finished reading. This is something else. I'll use this experience sometime when writing a mission report. I think after this, they'll never ask me to report again. Kakashi smiled happily, probably already imagining how the third would read his essay. Yeah, and what about the money? I looked at the clones finishing counting. Well, there's only a small pile left. Let's wait. I grabbed the little one and, putting him on my neck, went to the kitchen. I need to drink some tea while the clones finish their work. The kettle quickly boiled while I was playing with Naruto. Let's jump with the little one on our necks and see if he flies. Well, everything is ready. Kakashi-kun, come have some tea and buns! I shouted into the room. A minute later, a satisfied guy appeared. Yes, free food. That's what was written on his face. Kushina-san, your pastries are amazing. And in general, you are an amazing cook. The blonde immediately started chomping on the buns with Naruto, whom I had already lowered from my neck and sat at the table. Yes, Mom. Delicious. The little one confirmed, smiling with his mouth full. I sat down with them. It's good when family is happy. Family? I thought. When did I start perceiving these two as my family? Well, Naruto almost immediately after all, either of us had anywhere to go, and this sunny boy really captured my heart. And Kakashi? He's just over 20 now. Then it's understandable, I had a brother the same age. I simply transferred my feelings about my brother to him. Well, I have a son and a brother now. It's just a shame that Kakashi will continue to live in this snake pit. He won't do it, even if I ask. His home and friends will remain here, and he knows perfectly well that I will always be able to take care of myself and my son. But still, it's a shame. The counter clones vanished at this point. How interesting. The old man forked over more than I expected, but certainly less than he definitely should have. Much less. And screw him. Let the local summoning toad visit him. Kakashi-kun, the money was sealed back in the scroll. Let's assume I was paid off with a more or less normal sum. I certainly won't be indignant. What, were they really ripping me off? The guy sucked hard at his cup of tea, squinting his eyes with pleasure. There were no more buns left on the table. 2 growing organisms on my head. Yes, enough. But it will last me a lifetime, and I will provide for Naruto myself. I will provide for you myself, Mom. I will grow up and become strong and big. And I will earn a lot of money. The little one stood up on the stool. And no one will hurt you. I scooped the little one up in my arms and smiled at the top of his head. A little protector. Do you really think I need protecting? No, Naruto, thank you of course, but usually it's people who need saving from me. You'll understand that in time. No! Mom needs to be protected from petty criminals. What kind of words do you know? Who did you hear that from, admit it? I laughed, and Naruto immediately ratted out Kakashi. If only the third knew who that kid thought he was, Chapter 6. Soon Kakashi left, taking the contract scrolls, money, and shopping lists. Well, there's still time. I need to sort out the weapons my husband left behind, and check my gear. I'll also use the chakra conducting paper. We'll see what talents Naruto has, and confirm ours too. Where do we have it? Naruto, come here. Do you want to know what element you are? If we find out now, I'll soon start teaching you ninjutsu. And everything else too. I'll become a shinobi? The kid froze. Yes, I'll teach you everything. You'll become the strongest shinobi. I'm not lying at all. Naruto, like everyone else in the Uzumaki clan, has a huge reserve of his own, plus the Kyuubi's chakra. And we'll teach him control, he'll have no choice. And I think we can come to an agreement with the fox. Some of our goals coincide. Hooray! I'll become the strongest. I'll become a shinobi. I'll become Hokage. He jumped around me like Indians around a fire, performing an ancient shamanic rite. Well, it was very similar. Oh no! I groaned. So an obsession arose. Although, why am I grumbling? In the end, after the restoration of Konoha, which I will personally destroy to the ground a couple of times, and God willing, I will return once more to calm my nerves, Naruto will easily be able to occupy any post in this village. Even Hokage. I'm kind, a real angel. As they say, only my wings are dry cleaned and my halo is dusty. Ahem. So, you little brat, come here. Didn't Kakashi explain to you about chakra already? Yes, I could even sense it and direct it a little. I simply have a genius child growing up, I smiled. And why was Naruto depicted so stupid in the anime? A normal child. Quite developed. He can already channel chakra. This is wonderful. Sit here, I'll explain what to do. So, take this piece of paper with both hands. Hold it between your thumb and index finger. Yes, that's it, that's right. And pass just a little bit of chakra between your fingers. Can you do it? I'll try. Naruto puffed himself up, concentrating on the paper in his hands. His brows were furrowed, his lips pursed. Kawaii. I won't coddle him on principle, but in my heart I'd squeeze him. I don't like children. Why am I so touched by him? Aha. I see, it happened after all. Two personality matrices slowly merged into one. This is not a replacement of the soul, but a certain adjustment of life goals and values. Since my personality, having grown up in a harsh and cynical world, was stronger, a huge layer of my worldview remained dominant. I inherited maternal feelings from Kushina, which is why I constantly feel like pouring out tons of love on Naruto. Good, at least I have myself under control. And Habanero's explosive nature was balanced by my indifference. Not bad. No need to tense up so much. Let the chakra pass through your fingers. I stroked the boy's head to make him relax. And at that moment, the paper in his hands tore in two. Wind. Naruto's main element is wind. Mom? What does that mean? It means that your element is wind. That's good. Now squeeze a new piece of paper between your thumbs and middle fingers. There. And let the chakra pass through again. I didn't have to wait long before the paper in his hands crumpled. Kid, do you know what that means? No, you are a true son of your father. Your second element is lightning. Your father invented a bunch of techniques for his element. Now you will be able in time, of course, to even learn the technique of the God of Thunder. I have his kunai, and when you learn to control elemental chakra, I will give them to you. Hooray! And the boy hugged me around the neck. And now let Mom go, she will also experiment. Well, now it's time to understand if there are any changes in me. I already realized that with the appearance of my soul in this body, my chakra changed. I wonder if my elements have changed. I took a piece of paper and released my chakra. The paper crumpled. I didn't get it. Lightning is the main one? And what about my water? Looks like the little one, and I will need to study lightning at the same time. So, I take the second piece of paper. Phew, I exhaled. Water! The second element is still water. Mom, I think the paper is torn. Naruto examined the wet sheet of paper. Upon closer inspection, it really was torn. Coincidence? Or wind? She took the third paper. I squeezed it with all my fingers and released my chakra. The paper first crumpled, then got wet, and then broke into 2 pieces. So, I do have wind after all. No, it's a decent bonus. But who knows when this bonus will kick in? Learning 2 elements from scratch is no easy task. Naruto, it looks like you and I will both be learning, I sighed. Great. And will I also have a third element later? It all depends on your desire to learn. If you want, you can do anything. Kakashi-kun, for example, can use 4 elements. On a wave of new discoveries, an inspired Naruto asked me to start teaching him. Without thinking twice, I sat him down to meditate. I explained the principles of working with chakra, showed him several seals for concentrating and controlling chakra flows. I made sure he didn't mix anything up. That's it, the kid is busy, please do not disturb. And I also need to work on improving my control. She sat down next to him. There was still time. Kakashi returned late that night. His eyes sparkled with joy and he immediately asked for something to eat. Well, of course, the tradition-obsessed Uchiha family had been drinking tea with him the whole time. Or rather, conducting a full tea ceremony. Sadism. Well, Kushina-san. Everything happened just as you thought. The Uchiha immediately jumped at the chance to expand the clan's territory. So they all signed and paid without even haggling. The anonymity of the completed transaction is guaranteed for a week. In the meantime, they will draw up a plan for the reconstruction work and the like. Good. I took a sip of coffee. So, point 1 is completed. I took all the money to the bank and deposited it in an anonymous account with your key phrase. By the way, what does it mean? Chuckling, I shook my head. The key phrase was written in Russian. Rest in peace. How am I supposed to explain my flight of inadequate thought to Kakashi? Okay, that's your secret, I get it. But for some reason it seems to me that it says something. No, there are definitely no perversions there. You and Jiraiya-san are 2 peas in a pod. Nothing of the sort, Kakashi immediately objected. Jiraiya-san writes simply wonderful literature. And the guy took a small green book out of his bag. And bragged, look, I bought a new one yesterday. You don't have any tablets, that's where you could have a good time, I muttered to myself. Let's get back to our business. The blonde became serious again, putting the book back. I brought everything you needed on the list. I bought some, I had some. Don't argue, Kushina-san, he flared up, seeing that I wanted to get indignant. I gave you my equipment because I'll buy myself a new one later. I'm not giving it to you as a gift, I'm lending it to you, so to speak. After all, sooner or later you'll come back. Well, at the very least, we'll meet. Okay, you've convinced me. Thank you. Now for the most important thing. This afternoon, a crowd of genin, led by the Hokage, fled Konoha for Suna. Tonight is the optimal time. As I already said, I'll take charge of the gates. What kind of sabotage are you planning? I stared at Kakashi with interest. What was he planning? This will be my secret technique. It will probably be some kind of spectacular nastiness. It's good that I'm not participating in this. BRR. When do we need to be ready? The jokes are over. We both understand that. At 4 in the morning, you and Naruto should be near the gate. But not in sight. The dog will find you and guide you once the guards are neutralized. Once you pass the gate, I will join you. I'll guide you as far as I can. Good. Thank you again. And he left. And I and the clones had a sleepless night ahead of me. It was time to get ready to go. I sent the clones to stock up on food and also to check that everyone had taken the little things. I myself began sealing the weapons. As a purebred Uzumaki, I had several spatial seals on my body, which my father placed. 2 on my wrists, 2 on my forearms, 2 on my shoulders. Quite enough to carry an entire arsenal. The demon's seal on my stomach was unfortunately damaged, so I couldn't store anything there, which was a shame. Then I could have ditched the backpacks. The seal could be restored, of course. After all, I was trained in clan techniques, but we'll do that elsewhere. I sealed Minato's kunai and katana in my shoulders, things that would be more of a hindrance than a help on the way. A pile of shurikens and other throwing junk, a stack of explosive tags, and first aid kit went into my forearms. My kunai, made for me by my husband, were hidden on my wrists. If you channeled water chakra through them, you could create beautiful swords. Unlike wind, water couldn't cut through anything, but it could still cause a lot of unpleasant surprises when it came into contact with a human body. I've sorted out the weapons, now let's see what the clones did. And the copies packed 2 backpacks to help us. Or rather, a backpack for me and a small knapsack for Naruto. I dispelled the clones. Yes, that's right. My backpack contained scrolls with junk. Clothes, dishes, various essentials. The boy's bag contained scrolls with food, sleeping bags, and so on. He had everything he needed for the journey. Excellent. How much time is left? A couple of hours? There's no point in going to bed, and I have business. Urgent. Was it for nothing that I set the clones to make explosive tags? Oh no. I have a plan for a little revenge on Konoha for their stupidity and hatred. Small, because it doesn't involve razing the entire village to the ground. But it will go as far as it goes. So, having created 20 clones, I distributed the sheets of seals among them equally, turned them into cats, and sent them to the Hokage's residence. The clones dispelled within half an hour, all the mines planted. After all, I didn't just create an explosive tag. I managed to make a timer bomb and link it to the chakra component. As soon as we leave the village, the countdown will start. And in 3 days, boom! Big bad boom! I won't destroy the residence, of course. But I'll get on your nerves pretty bad. Time? Time to get dressed.